Hey, what's up guys? Boost Auto here. Today, I'm going to show you how to install our S-Series cab lights on a 17 to 22 Ford Superduty. Let's get into it. Introducing our S-Series cab lights, Boost Auto's newest innovation, offered with a wide range of customizable options. With our quality build and precision engineering, these cab lights are sure to set your build apart from the rest. Enhance visibility and add a premium touch to your vehicle's appearance with our exclusive features. Light up the sky with Boost Auto's S-Series cab lights. Option them out in a crisp white running light or our sleek amber running light that'll leave your build looking sharp. You can also option for our jaw-dropping startup sequence, adding personality to your truck from the start. And for the first time in the history of cab lights, we've developed groundbreaking technology from the ground up with our S-Series module. Our S-Series module enables turn signal functionality on our cab lights without the need for additional wires being run to them to add that function. Get them as a standard flashing signal or option for our premium sequential signal, so your turn signal swipes instead of flashing. But here's the best part. Our cab lights are also available as switchbacks, so they'll fit right in with all the other awesome Boost Auto products on your truck. If you'd like to retrofit our S-Series cab lights on a vehicle that did not originally have cab lights, or you own a different vehicle, head on over to our website at boostauto.com for the latest in fitment, availability, and to purchase all we have to offer. In your kit, you're going to receive your S-Series cab lights. If you notice when you open the box, they're labeled. They're marked for individual locations on the roof. They have to go in that spot for proper orientation. If you option for turn signal functionality, you're also going to receive your S-Series module. This is going to allow turn signal functionality, and with this, you're also going to get your S-Series module's wiring kit. Here's a list of tools required for this installation. Before we go ahead and start our install, we're going to do a couple things to make our lives a little easier while we still have power to the truck. We're going to move our seat back, and if equipped, you can roll back your sunroof for easy access. To start our install, we'll disconnect our primary battery and auxiliary battery if equipped. This is going to be your primary battery, and your auxiliary battery is going to be located over on the driver's side. Let's go ahead and disconnect our primary battery located on the passenger front of the vehicle. Like I said, if you have an auxiliary battery, disconnect it at this time too. This is in the driver front of the vehicle. We're going to start with taking off our first cab light on the passenger side. Number 1 is going to be closest to your passenger mirror, while number 5 is closest to your driver mirror. So here we are on top of the roof on the passenger side of the vehicle. We're going to start removing our cab light. This is held in by a T20 Torx bit. We're going to take that out, and then we're going to remove our cab light. So now we're going to unstick the adhesive on it, pull forward, and lift up. So now that you've removed your cab light, we're going to have to take out our connector. To do this, we're just going to depress the tab right here and pull it out. Now with that cab light out, let's go ahead and remove the rest of our cab lights in the same manner. Due to the adhesive that Ford used on their OEM cab lights, it's possible that your foam might have torn and left it still attached to your roof. It's not really a big deal, all you have to do is just peel it off like tape. So peel up a corner and work it around, and at the end you can just peel it off. Now go ahead and clean off the surface of your roof where your cab lights mount by using your preferred exterior cleaner, and make sure that you get rid of any foam residue beforehand so you can make sure your cab lights properly seal. Now, with your OEM cab lights removed, we can go ahead and talk about our cab lights. Our cab lights are molded to the curvature of your vehicle's roof. This, along with our closed foam cell gaskets, provide a watertight seal without the need of any additional adhesives. Our cab lights also go through extensive leak and pressure testing scenarios to ensure that when you install them on your vehicle, you won't have to worry about any water getting in. Our cab lights are also designed to be tightened by hand using hand tools only to ensure a perfect watertight seal. So now we're back on the roof. We're going to insert cab light number 1 in the number 1 position closest to your passenger mirror. So go ahead and plug in your factory connector into your Boost Auto cab light. Now we're going to push in on the front so the front slides in, and then we're going to push it on the back and it's going to clip into place. So now take your rubber washer and your Phillips head screw included in your kit and slide the washer onto your screw. Now thread your screw into your factory clip and use a screwdriver to tighten it. Remember, no power tools. Now, with cab light number 1 mounted, we can go ahead and mount 2, 3, 4, and 5, 5 being closest to your driver mirror, in the same way we just mounted number 1. Now that your Boost Auto cab lights are mounted, If you option for running light only, all you have to do left for your installation is reconnect your batteries. But if you option for turn signal functionality, you still have to install your S-Series module. We'll show you how to do that right now. So let's go over your S-Series module before we go ahead and install it. Your S-Series module is going to have an output side. This is going to be your blue wire and your black wire. Your black wire isn't required for this installation. Your S-Series module is going to have your input side, which is going to be your 4-pin connector and your 2-pin connector. Your 4-pin connector is where your S-Series module is going to receive your inputs from. So that's going to be running light and both turn signals. And then you have your other input, which is power and ground. That's actually how you're going to supply the module with power. This black wire, like I said, isn't required for the installation, so we can go ahead and tape this out of the way. Here we are on the passenger side of the vehicle. We're going to be taking out our A-pillar. To do this, we're going to have to remove these 2 trim covers here and the 2 bolts underneath. Let's get into it. Using a pick tool, we're going to pry right here to release our trim cover, and then just give it a little pull. It should pop out like that. We're going to do the same thing at the bottom, closest to where it mounts. Go ahead and remove the bolts that are hidden underneath these trim covers. We're going to peel back our weather stripping to allow for removal of our A-pillar trim cover. Back inside the vehicle, we're going to go ahead and remove our A-pillar trim cover. Yours might have a connector on the back if you have speakers in your trim cover. We do. So to do this, all you have to do is press down on the tab here and pull out, and there you go. We're going to remove this insulation. It's not attached to anything. You can just work it out. Set this aside. We're going to remove this trim cover right here. Now set this aside.
Now we're going to be intercepting our running light wire from the connector under the A-pillar here.
Now this connector right here is what we're looking for. The tab to depress and get it out is on the back of it. The rest of your harness is going to be kept in this tab up here. You can push back and then get this to free up more of your harness. You have more room to work. Now that we have our connector moved into an area where we can better access it, we're going to use a small pair of scissors and we're going to cut back on the loom here so we have more access to our wire that we need. So now, with our wires revealed, we're going to take our wire that's in pin 1 with the connector tab on top. Pin 1 is going to be all the way to the left, in the leftmost position. We're going to cut that wire about here so we have room to work with it on both sides of the cut. We're going to strip both ends of the wire. Now we're going to crimp the blue output wire of our S-Series module to the wire going up to the top of the cab lights. Install butt connector onto the one wire going away from the cab lights. So now that we have our module partially installed, we're going to go ahead and plug in our 4-pin connector that gives us our signals. Take the orange wire from that connector, measure it to length, and then cut it. Now strip the end of this wire, and now install it into the butt connector that we just installed. Using your heat gun, shrink our butt connectors. Plug in your 2-pin power and ground connector into your module.
Plug in your 4-pin cab light connector and then guide your harness back into the retainer.
We're going to take our S-Series module and our orange running light wire, and we're going to feed it down through here. So it hangs right about here. We're going to tie up our S-Series module. We're going to remove our BCM access cover. So to remove your BCM access cover, there's going to be a handle in the back, and we're just going to pull on it. With that, you can set this aside.
Route your 4 remaining wires, left and right turn signal, and then power and ground through the opening in the side panel and into your kick panel area.
Now we're going to be connecting our turn signal wires to the BCM connector.
Using either your fingers or a pick, press down on the black tab and then pull the gray latch down to release the connector from the BCM. Now we're going to release the connector cover from the connector. First, cut the zip tie and press in on the 2 tabs located on the back of the connector and pull the connector cover off of the connector.
We're going to give you a better breakdown of it on the bench so you have a better idea what you're working with. We're going to need to push these tabs in to release our wires.
So you're going to push these in and the connector cover should come off with that. Cut the tape off the harness to reveal more of the wires. Locate pin 39, one slot to the right of the pin 40 identifier on the outside of the connector, and install a red T-tap a couple inches away from the connector to make sure there's no conflict with reinstalling the cover over the 2 connectors. Then press it until it clicks into place. Measure the red and blue wire and cut it to length. and then strip the wire and crimp a spade terminal onto the end of the wire. Then install the red and blue wire to the T-tap that was just installed. Locate pin 38, 2 positions to the right of the pin 40 identifier, and install a red T-tap a couple inches away from the connector. Then press it until it clicks into place. Measure the red and green wire to length with the T-tap that we just installed, and then cut it, strip the end of the wire, and then crimp a spade terminal onto the wire. Now install the red and green wire to the T-tap. Slide the connector cover back into place over the connector and make sure the clips on the side lock into place. We're going to give you a better breakdown of it on the bench so you have a better idea what you're working with. Now to put them back in, all you have to do is line up your connectors back again and push them in and make sure these retaining tabs lock into place. Now secure a zip tie through the spot where we cut one earlier and trim the end of it. Now reinstall the connector with the gray latch starting in the down position, and once it's in place, slide the latch up to lock the connector in place. We're going to be removing this connector, tap for power and ground at. We're going to do this by pushing in on the tab and pulling the connector latch back. Cut the zip tie that secures the cover to the loom. Now that the zip tie has been cut, press in on the tab at the front end of the connector and remove the cover. Next, we will tap to pin 29 for power. With the connector latch in the forward position on top, pin 29 is located all the way to the left, second from the top. So now we're going to take our wire at pin 29, we're going to follow it up the loom so we have enough room to put the shroud back on. We're going to install a T-tap on that wire. Then press it until it clicks into place. We're going to take our red wire, we're going to measure it roughly to length, and we're going to cut. Strip this wire. Take your inline fuse that's provided in the kit and crimp it onto your red wire. Now take the other end of it and crimp on a spade terminal. Heat shrink your butt connector. Now install your power wire onto the T-tap you just installed. Next, for ground, we'll be tapping at pin 6. With the connector latch in the forward position up top, pin 6 is located all the way to the right in the 6th slot from the top. Now we're going to take this wire, we're going to pull it from the loom a little bit so we have enough room to tap and still get our shroud back on. So now that we have enough room on our wire, we're going to take one of our red T-taps, tap to pin 6. Then press it until it clicks into place. Take your black wire from your kit, roughly measure it to length the T-tap you just installed, and take your electrical multi-tool and cut that wire to that length. Strip this end of the wire. Take one of your spade connectors provided in your kit and crimp it to the end of this wire. Take your black wire and install it onto the T-tap that we installed at pin 6. Now install the cover onto your connector. You're going to do this by sliding it backwards first and then pressing in, and you're going to hear a click. Now we're going to install a zip tie through the loop that we cut earlier. Cut your zip tie. Now we can go ahead and reinstall our connector. Make sure you have your connector latch slid all the way forward before doing this. Push the connector latch back to latch it into place. Now to get your BCM cover in, you're going to align these 2 tabs right here, slide them in, and then push it back into place. Before we can install our A-pillar, we're going to install the insulation that we took out in the first place. Now we're going to install our A-pillar. Remember, some of you might have a speaker in this A-pillar. If you do, make sure to reconnect that now. Go ahead and install your 2 10mm bolts that we took out to remove the A-pillar. Now with your 2 bolts installed, we can go ahead and pop our covers back in place. We'll go ahead and reinstall our side panel. Now we're going to reinstall our weather stripping. Now you can go ahead and just work it around and press in so it slips into place. And now to wrap up our installation, we're going to reconnect our primary battery. Now we're reconnecting our auxiliary battery. Finally, test to make sure all your lights are operational. And that completes our S-Series cab lights installation. If you want to purchase these cab lights, check out our website at boostauto.com. You can also find any other products that we sell for your vehicle on our website. And I'll see you guys in the next one.